Hi, folks. Let's talk it over. I'm Ken Weene, and here's Monica Brinkman, my wonderful co-host, and we're just delighted to be here with you today. Monica has been very kind to me and said that I should talk a little bit about some of the things I've been doing lately, which, of course, being a total narcissist, I'm perfectly happy to do, right? But
no, it's worth this. I mean, it's time that you got to tell people a little bit about what's going on with you because you're extremely talented.
You're twisting my arm. Hey, I'm not going to start by talking about me, though. I'm going to talk about a very good friend of mine. You know, in this world, we come across people, we interact with people, and they enrich our lives. One of the many people who have enriched my life is Monica Brinkman.
Thank you.
This is another guy. His name is Umar Abdul, and Umar is from Nigeria. And he and I met on social media, actually. Of course, we've never met in person. I wish there was a way that we could. We have talked on Skype and stuff. But he and I, well, even though we have not had that much direct contact, we've written 2 plays together and probably going to write a third. The first one is called The Ashes, and it's pretty good. If you look for it on my Amazon page or my website, you can. And the second is called.
Sure, have that link, Ken. Yeah.
And then there's The Rightful King, which is the one I'm kind of talking a lot about today because it's about. It takes us inside some of the traditions of his tribal background in Nigeria, but addresses modern politics. And we'll be getting back to that in a second. It happens that, like a few of my friends, Umar is Islamic and Muslim, and he's raising his children to be Muslim. He and his wife are raising his. And it happens that when we're recording this is Ramadan. And I don't often write poetry for a specific person, but I did write a piece for Umar, and I wanted to share it with you guys today. It's called A Poem for Ramadan. I guess that's pretty simple. I asked my Muslim friend, which is worse, to paint the likeness of the Prophet or destroy that portrait and thus erase his memory? A man cannot erase the memory of Allah, for he resides within our every mind, my Salah friend replied. The Prophet, blessed be he, is but the mirror in which we see the truth of what we all believe. Break the mirror and truth remains unshattered, still a whole and clear reflection that each shard retains, a portion still divine though broken 1,000 times. With that, my friend turned back to prayer and spoke no more, except again proclaim, God is great. With this avowal of undying faith, entered prayer Iram and discoursed with me, an infidel, no more.
Aww.
And I think it's important for us to understand something here. Okay. Especially because Monica and I have often talked about, in one way or another, religion on the show, both in good ways and negative ways.
Yes.
And one of the things that, I believe very strongly is that when we interact with others of faith, even though their faiths may be different than ours, and even if they are not necessarily, if their faiths are not necessarily religious in nature, like a truthful and honest humanist, atheist, or agnostic, the fact is that we inform one another and we can grow. It is through the interaction, through that process of sharing and being together in the exploration, that we all can grow. And so I thought I would start, before I got into the rightful king, I thought I would share that, because I think Umar and I wholly believe that we have enriched one another's life. So what's it like to write a Nigerian play?
Yeah, I can.
Really, it's kind of, again, a weird thing, because, we're writing from different perspectives. But one of the things I have learned from him, and I think is really cool, is that even though, as I have said, Umar is Muslim, he still is in touch with the traditions, values of his tribal legacy. And this includes the role of the ancestors. So in this particular play, what happens is a king has perhaps been murdered, probably been murdered, and he's a good guy, been a good king. And now there are two people vying. One wants power and the other wants wealth. They're both bad guys. And they're vying. And they both have their underlings. They're two captains or lieutenants, whatever you want to call them. And they are trying to get to be the king, each of them. The ancestors have decided that they are going to arrive on the scene and rescue this small kingdom. And their method of doing it is to intervene, to come onto Earth and intervene in a bodily way.
Wow.
Okay, and that is the tradition. So there are two of ancestors, and one goes and fetches the person who should be king. Okay, a young man who actually has kind of been cursed by kind of an Oedipal kind of curse, so he has been thrown out of where he should be.
Oh no.
And he ends up, but that's part of the whole plan, see? So she comes along as an old woman and basically tricks him into accompanying her by telling him she needs protection, or making him think she needs protection. And so...
play on his empathy.
Okay. So she introduces him now. He introduces himself rather to her, not that she needs him to, but, she knows, but, she's tricking him. So he says, I am an Oja, the son of a Boni. I travel this trail to find a new village. The king of our tribe consulted the oracle and wanted me slain. He heard the priest's mumblings that I would be a great king and interpreted the riddle in his own mind. He believed that I would usurp his throne. He would have killed me to protect his sons, who were my dearest friends. I would never have harmed them. The oldest warned me, told me of his father's plan, so I took flight. So they're running, and she says, and he says, she says, where are you going? He says, wherever it takes me. And so perhaps if you wish, I'll go with you. And she says, so you can steal my jewel? And so she, of course, setting him up as a good guy, right? That he won't do that. So with that in mind, we have the next one is the daughter of the good king. She is the only one of his family who is left. And the reason that she is left is because she has gone off to visit her mother's village.
Mm-hmm.
So to find her grandparents. She comes in, and the other ancestor waylays her at the market and says to her basically, or says, she's a thief, she stole from me. And so they end up in prison, they end up in jail, and the old woman and the young guy end up in jail. So they're now both in jail. Meanwhile, the wise men of the village, the elders of the village, have sent the priest to the oracle to find out what. Yeah. So you can see this, it's kind of got this like Greek theme to it, the Nigerian tribal traditions to it, but it's also very modern. And one of the things that Umar and I had a lot of fun with is that we use a chorus of women, 2 women, really. Okay. So the 2 women come along. The 2 lieutenants are arguing, and the woman 1 comes in. There were just the 2 of them. One comes in, she says, "Woe unto the city that has no king, but double woe to that which has 2 who would be king. For while they battle for the crown, no one knows which way the wind of power might blow." And the other woman comes in. "Where has our true king gone? Has he fled, been murdered, taken hostage? We do not know. It is fearful to lose such a gracious king. With Quara as our ruler, Ego was a troop of guerrillas, mighty and peaceful. Now we cast about like chattering monkeys, unable to know right from wrong." And then the 2 women say, "Ancestors, we invoke your aid to heal our sadly fractured state. Ego now faces an unruly fate with 2 warring would-be kings. What miseries will the future bring? Cause Quara's line again to rule. Save us from these usurping fools, for Ego's decency and lot we pray." So you again, very ancient Greek, but still within the traditions of, and so it's fun. And I'm just hoping, hey, folks, if you know a company, a theater company, it is, because it takes place in Nigeria, it's assumed the characters are black, but it doesn't have to be. Umar and I would just love to have it performed someplace, even just read. We'll provide copies. We don't expect royalty. All we would like.
So many theater companies.
Yeah, all we'd like in return is a video of your performance, whether it's a reading, a staged reading, whatever it is, because we just would love to have the shared. We think it's fun, and that's what we write for. People will say, "What do you write? Do you write to make money?" Well, Monica, you're a writer, right? Would you say you write to make money?
No.
We'd be better off washing dishes at Burger King. Right? Nobody writes to make money. Sometimes you luck out. But hey, realistically, that's not why we do it. We do it because we have to, because it's inside us, because it's screaming at us.
Yeah, and I don't know that people can understand that. It's like, everybody has that little voice in their head, even though they don't talk about it. But we have more. We have the characters screaming at us.
Characters are right in our head, yeah. There's in one of my books, Red and White, it was only, I'm writing this book and I don't have any idea where any of it is coming from. Okay. It just is there. And I'm writing away and I have this voice in my head kind of dictating this book to me about this Native American youth and his life. And it's filled with legends and things. And I have no idea where any of this is coming from. And no, I am not of any Native American No past life regression, none of that, okay? Honestly, I don't claim any of that at all. So, this voice is talking to me in my head, and I'm writing it down. And, cleaning it, I won't say I contributed nothing because it's my skill with language. But when it's all finished, okay, toward the very end, the voice identifies who he is. And he says, now go back to that part of the book and I'll tell you my real name. And I go back and I write in the real name. And then I say to him, I'm going to look what that name is. And it turns out this was a contemporary of the story. He was a Sioux who did go to the Native American school in Pennsylvania and Ohio school, and would have been there at this time, would have known this main character. And then he reveals his end part, and which I don't want to spoil the story by telling you how it ends, but he comes back into the story. But isn't it, I mean, he literally tells me his name. Okay. And it's there. And I'm going to let you read the book to find the name because I don't want to spoil this. But let me. So where do these voices come from? Monica, where do your voices come from?
I think we get sent the voices we're supposed to hear.
I think so too. Now sometimes sometimes the voices I hear are real people. I mean, in the sense that, people I actually know in this life. And one of the books, as long as I'm pitching books, what the heck? It's this one, which we're doing. Okay, it's called Jumping Over the Ram.
Ken, before you do that, I want to tell people something about the last book you were just talking about, Red and White.
Yes.
Because I've read this book.
Yeah.
And what you just said to me about your muse, as they call them, I felt like I was walking with you through the story, with the characters. Do you know how difficult that is to do? I mean, you felt like you were right there with them.
Yeah, I felt that way. And I mean, I appreciate you saying, do you know how difficult it is? It wasn't, because he was doing it. He had been there. I was just his secretary, his scribe. I mean, as I say, I worked on language to get the rhythms right and things. By the way, hey, can I give you a writing tip, folks? One of my favorite writing tips. When you're writing and you feel that the rhythm of the language is important, one trick is to play music. Preferably music that is either without voice or where the voice is not in a language you understand. You don't want to think about the words. What you want to do is capture the tonality and rhythm of the music. And there were times when writing Red and White that, in fact, I had a stack of Native American CDs. Of course, now we use playlists, but back then, CDs. And I would shuffle through them and listen. Some of it was flute music, some of it was drum music, some, like there's one chapter that takes place at a dance, and native traditional dance, and I had gotten some dance music, not necessarily from the appropriate tribe, but just so that I had a sense of the rhythm and tonality. Because it wouldn't have mattered to me what tribe it was, because I didn't speak any of the languages.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a little along the way.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
that's
I
fine.
had to get that point.
Just speaking about another, have you read this one yet, Mom? Jumping Over the Ram?
No, I need to read that one and coursing.
Okay. Well, jumping over the ram, I'm the co-author. And I think we've already done something about this show, or we will, with the main author, whose name is Deng Tem. Deng is a friend of mine.
That's coming up. Yeah.
And this is actually his story. So I didn't have to worry about the plot line. I just had to worry about helping him put it into language. So in a way, it was very much like writing Red and White. He's telling me these stories, and actually, since a lot of the writing was done with him in the room, and I was listening to the rhythm of his language, it helped. But I also did listen to, I got some African and Arabic and music from that part of Africa, South Sudan specifically, and it helped.
That's a good tip.
Yeah,
most people don't even think about what their surroundings and atmosphere can do. Well, thank you for sharing that.
So anyway, this guy, Deng, one of the great things about Deng is he's got a friend named Anderson Cooper. Yeah, that Anderson Cooper, who turns out is every bit as nice a human being as you thought he was. I mean, I don't interact with him. Deng does, but he tells me what's going on. And Anderson has just been wonderfully helpful to us.
I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, really good read.
I want to be into a movie.
So anyway, those are some of the things. Actually, I have a friend who is working on a movie version. I don't know how it'll come out. And did you know, by the way, Monica, I've been working on a movie with a movie company. They hired me to help them with a movie.
I think you mentioned that.
Yeah.
But, wow, what fun that is. Well, work, but
it is fun and hard work. And what I have learned, and this is something that's really interesting to me, what I think makes me a good interviewer for the show is also what makes me good at doing things like that, and made me good in working with Deng, and also good with working with my friend Uma, is that evidently I'm pretty good at understanding what other people are trying to say. I guess that's my great skill.
How often do you do that to me? Did you mean, yeah, that was it?
That's what it's, maybe it's what I'm good at. Anyway, so thank you for listening to me, folks. I'm really not usually this narcissistic, but it was so kind of Monica to offer me a chance to bloviate. And again, if you are of the Muslim faith, folks, please let me wish you the most blessed of Ramadans. And let me plead with you, no matter what your faith is, folks, please, let's try and listen to one another. Monica, thanks.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. And folks, I'm going to have below some links where you can check some of the things that we've been talking about and see why I'm so excited. And I think Ken deserves more than even just this time. So check his books out. Hey, anybody looking for a great movie? Contact Ken. Okay, folks, with that, I'm going to give you a little bit of a trailer to give you a peek inside Mr. Ken Weene's writing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.
My life started in a traditional Dinka home in a traditional Dinka village, herding cow and learning to become a Dinka man. Life gives us choice. why we are, and what we are to become. This is my journey across world.
Jerem